tributes are being paid across the world to the last president of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, who has died at the age of 91. Gorbachev was admired and celebrated in the West for his role in ending the Cold War. However, his internal reforms weakened the Soviet Union to the point where it fell apart, and many Russians have never forgiven him for it. While the last president of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, as we said, died at the age of 91. Let's cross to our correspondent in Moscow, Stuart Smith. Stuart, a very good morning to you. How will the world remember the former President Mikhail Gorbachev?
Well, outside of Russia, the emphasis for sure is on his attempts and success in ending the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States. It was something that at the time was bringing much fear to the world with the potential for nuclear escalation, and he is credited as the person that managed to sew that up and make sure that it ended on reasonable terms with the United States. The current US President Joe Biden called him a man of remarkable vision who reduced the countries to nuclear arsenals and made a safer and freer world for its people. The European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called him, or said of his actions, that he opened the way for a free Europe, and his legacy is one that Europe will not forget. And the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he's a one-of-a-kind statesman who changed the course of history and did more than any other individual bring about the end of the Cold War. But there is indeed a different perception in Russia, where the domestic situation that he presided over and the choices he made are poorly remembered amongst those that had to live through those changes.
Now, his reforms were accepted by many, but like any leader, he had weaknesses. What were those weaknesses?
Well, some historians criticise him for not fully realising how the Soviet system needed to work, and in his attempts to try to redress the balance between the Russian Soviet Republic and the other Soviet republics that made up the Soviet Union, he removed important safeguards which were required by the whole system to keep the economy and the political system working. So in order to try and create more freedoms and introduce democracy to the country at the same time, he started the collapse of the Soviet system, which throughout the 1990s was a major term of turmoil in Russia as it tried to transition away from decades under communist rule. And so he's somebody that is not respected in Russia by many people for the chaos that he presided over and how he dealt with those economic reforms.
And has there been any reaction from Russian President Vladimir Putin?
Yes, there has been. According to the Kremlin, a spokesperson released a statement saying that Vladimir Putin sends his deep condolences over the death of Mikhail Gorbachev, and on Wednesday morning will have sent a telegram directly to his family to send his condolences personally. Previously, he has talked about Mikhail Gorbachev as somebody that belongs to a galaxy of bright, extraordinary people, an outstanding statesman who had a significant impact on the course of national and world history. But it is believed, according to friends who have spoken to Russian media, friends of Mikhail Gorbachev, that there is some animosity there, that Mikhail Gorbachev considers Russian President Vladimir Putin to have erased the developments and successes of his time as president, and similarly that Vladimir Putin isn't so keen on the person that presided over the fall of the Soviet Union, something that the Russian president now calls the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century.
Have we been able to find out what the cause of death is?
Yes, it was due to a long and serious illness. According to the hospital, he had issues with his kidneys in later life and was on dialysis at the time. So he's been in hospital for a while and his health has been poor for many months. Now that he has died, his family say that he will be buried in the center of Moscow next to his late wife Raisa, and also amongst many of the Soviet Union's and Russia's great. Hundreds of other influential and notable dignitaries from this time are also buried in that cemetery. So a send-off for somebody who certainly presided over one of Russia's most important moments.
Now, you've spoken about the tributes that have poured in from the several other countries. Where else have we received tributes from? I see the UN has also reacted to the death.
Yes, that's right. The United Nations, reports coming in from all over the world, including much of it the Western world, the world most at risk from any kind of nuclear escalation during the Cold War. There is a message from Japan, Australia, Canada, all expressing condolences and talking about why they felt his actions had led to a safer world more globally.
Oh, we seem to have lost Stuart Smith there, our correspondent in Moscow, giving us an update on the tributes that are pouring in for Mikhail Gorbachev, who last Soviet leader who died at the age of 91. Thank you there to our correspondent, Stuart Smith.